All right, next day, and we're gonna have to do this again. I took it out and washed it last night, and then it got dark, and I couldn't really see the results of my work, and it was just caked with dirt in places. Like the pressure washer just kind of blew it all around, and it didn't really clean it off, and in the dark, I couldn't see that very good. So I'm gonna take it up and wash it again, and then I think we might be ready to tackle some more of this, but I don't want to run it too much because this fitting here is just, the rubber is gone. It's pouring oil out. I'm very surprised that he, hasn't had to add a ton of oil the whole time, which maybe he has and he never said that. But we should probably check. Oh, there's plenty in there. It's maybe a little bit low. So anyway, yeah, might as well clean her up good while we can see. We got some sunshine, so that's what we're gonna do right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. The old 200 here that belongs to a customer needs some attention. And every time I think I about got it clean and ready to start doing something, I find more crap. So I want to try to get it washed off better. I did quite a bit last night. It actually is orange again in a lot of places where it was not. But if we do a better job, then we can tell, if we're going to replace some of these lines while we're here. I'm almost thinking so. Like the rubber on that one is not very good. And if I did those now, potentially he wouldn't have any trouble from now on. And we've had it long enough, we might as well make it good. So I'm thinking on that, and like I said, I think I got everything else to do what I originally intended to do. We should look at our, before we start it, because I did wash that off. Does that look like that was leaking again? I don't know. It's clean now, but I'm afraid that right in this little section here, that might be seeping. So that's something to watch. Apparently the neighbor is practicing for our invasion of Syria or something, because there's been a lot of shooting going on. And if they're hunting, I would say whatever they're trying to get is probably scared off by now. Kind of ridiculous, really, but we'll see. All right, let's see if we have any luck today getting it to run. Beautiful. It's 57 degrees, so it ought to run. Nope, that's not it. There we go. This tractor's hard to find reverse in. I don't think something is adjusted quite right. Also, I discovered yesterday that this is one of the tractors where third gear is wore out because it jumps out. So when it quits moving here in a minute, it's because that it jumped out of third gear. Which is a shame, because that's a handy gear to use. Today it didn't jump out of third gear. I say third gear, but I guess it technically is listed as third gear, but high and low, so you have 8 speeds. So anyway, I guess there's no use to video washing this, because do you really want to get covered with crap? Probably not. So I'll put you down and get to work on this, and we'll see how it turns out in a minute. All right, I hope I got it clean this time. It took another couple washings. I thought I was done, and then I looked it over and I found more stuff. And it's all tucked away in places. There's still a little bit, but I can get that with brake clean. I can't get the wand to that thing in every nook and cranny, but I got 99% of it, I think, this time. And the longer I look at this, the more stuff I want to fix. But like I said before, where do you stop? But I am thinking that I might replace these 4 lines. I hate to spend money, but if I do that, they are ones that you would have to take the hood off to do. And so if I would do these 4, then he shouldn't have to take the hood off for anything down the road. And like this one is short and it changes to this. So if this one started leaking, he could do that probably without taking the hood off, you know. And so that would be like, I'll reuse this one here, and then it's likewise with another one, couples to something else. And I don't know. So like this line, I'm not going to replace this because it's able to be got to from the side. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I want to get the worst stuff, but not too much stuff. I think he's in due for a set of fan belts. And this belt, I don't think he even uses the air conditioner, but it don't look good. So I don't know. I might have to ask him. Maybe he wants me to just take that off. But I think I got it clean this time, where I'm comfortable with stripping it down now to get this off of there, because I didn't want to knock a bunch of trash in there. Like I said, this one is a hassle because I got to take, looks like the air conditioner bracketry loose just to get room to get out of there. You got to take this crossover tube off. There's just a lot of stuff you got to do, little piddly stuff. This air conditioning hose lays right over top of it. It's probably going to be in the way. Or is that air conditioning? I don't know. Whatever this hose is here, I think it goes up to the air conditioner. It's just stuff like that that just makes this a little bit more difficult. But we can get in there now. I thought maybe that was loose and that's why it was sticking out like that, but no, I think we're headed downhill finally. You know, we're ready to bring this home. So yeah, I'm gonna go park it back in the shed, and I'll probably let it dry, and I don't know if I'll work on it later or if I'll just wait till tomorrow. But I think now it's ready to just start hammering on it and get it done. I think I can have it in just a few days, maybe, providing I can get the parts. But yeah, like I said, where does the guy stop? Well, he's gonna stop right here. The more I look at this, I kind of feel like I should replace that too. But like I said, that one's easy to get to, so I'll probably just leave it. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not sure what the situation is with this. Like, look at this plate. What's happening here? I feel like this should probably be attached in some way. Like I'm gonna put a bolt through that hole maybe that's missing? Question mark. I don't know what the silicone was about. If it was letting cold air in the cab and they thought, hey, silicone, or if he didn't want it to rub a hole through something. That's quite interesting. I don't know. I bet that spring thing's gonna cause a problem if I bolt that solid. Maybe not. We'll sort that out when we get it back in the shed here. But yeah, I definitely want this done because my poor 1855's lost its happy home whilst this has been in its spot. So That's another project, shed Tetris. That needs to happen so bad. I hate seeing all this stuff sit outside, but I just haven't had time to mess with it. So, oh well. All right, it's the next day. Much more orange, much more better. Deciding how to proceed. I'm gonna go ahead and replace these 4 lines. I wasn't going to at first, but you can see, don't pay attention to the paint cracks, but if you actually look at the rubber, they're pretty old, and there's places where they've been worn into. They're swelled up here. It just seems to me like if I would do those now, he probably wouldn't have to do them for a long time, which would mean he wouldn't have to take the hood off, which would be a handy thing. So, we'll do that here in a minute. I think what I want to do first is go ahead and take the valve cover off and get that new gasket glued on, and you know what I'm saying there, so that is all quite ready to go. There's still a little bit of crap down in places where I couldn't get the wand. We're gonna have to just brake clean that away, because that's just the best we can do. We also need to fix this before we go back together. I don't really know how that was made originally, if that really is the way it was attached and the other one just fell out because there is a hole there, or if that was something somebody added, or I just don't know. So I'm going to attach that side is what I'm saying. I'm not really sure about the silicone either. I was puzzling over that. I don't know if I mentioned that in another video. If they were trying to seal air, like cold air in the winter time was coming down through the dash and he was getting cold, and he thought if they squirted silicone in there, maybe that would do it, or if they were trying to do some sort of keeping the stuff from rubbing the thing. I'm not sure. It might have worked first, but it doesn't look like it held up very good over time, and it also kind of looks like maybe they did it after the tractor was painted. Well, they might have done it before the tractor was painted. I was going to say there's orange paint underneath that one, but over here there's orange paint on top of it. So, I don't know. Doesn't really make much difference. It would work or not work. Whatever. I'm going to get this tube back out of the way, which is just 2 clamps right now because we had to take it loose, remember, to get the hood off. We need to take this loose. I'm pretty sure I got this boot because on the last one I learned my lesson that it was pretty brittle and dry, and it was better to just order the boot. And then I got the gasket for that tube. This one adds the extra wrinkle of the air conditioner compressor. So I'm not sure if a guy can just take loose maybe this bolt and that bolt up there and try to set the whole thing out of the way enough, or if it's going to be, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to be my best course of action. That would certainly be the simplest, because the other way you'd have to take loose 4 bolts. We'll just see what we get into. But we'll start with the stuff we know how to do. We're going to have to hunt up our tools again, because I'm not exactly sure. I'm looking for a specific thing, and I don't remember. It's probably in the white pickup from when I took it on all those service calls different places. So I'll have to run up and grab that. Now the question is, can we just, or is that going to be more annoying? That's probably going to be more annoying than if I just take it all the way off. We'll sacrifice a zip tie. It's no problem. It's pretty brittle anyway, as we just discovered. Okay. That thing's going to be in our way the whole time. I know how life works. What else? A lot of stuff that has been on there since before they painted it, because you can see a lot of paint is just painted over stuff. That's kind of frustrating when you're working on something, because it just adds another wrinkle to the situation. We also have no knowledge of whether his air conditioner actually was working. The compressor was unplugged, which makes me wonder. However, that could have just happened, you know, in life's travels. It may be that it wasn't on purpose, and it may be that that compressor was locking up on him or something, and they took the wire off. It's hard to say, but we'll consult with him before we get carried away. Now, I'm also questioning, would it be easier, even though I don't want to take more loose than I have to, would it be easier to take this orange panel loose anyway, so I have that extra room to maneuver this air conditioner hose out of my way, whatever that may be. It's 3 bolts, so I might just go ahead and do that. It looks like they're all still got their backside intact, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Oh, there's a view you haven't had before. What I'm thinking though is it would just be easier to get this out of the way, since it's only 3 bolts. Might regret it later, but it is what it is, you know. It's not really cold today, but it rained so much that it's kind of wet feeling in the air. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of an uncomfortable feeling. It's not unbearable. It's just, I don't know. You just feel like I would rather have something slightly different, but I don't know what that is. There we go. That gives us more access. I probably should have took that off before I washed it. I could have got it a little better, more clean, but whatever. Now, what would probably be acceptable, I think these are 7/16, so I'll need to get that here in a minute. I could go ahead and take the 4 bolts loose over here on this end of the tube, since that's the socket that I got on there. I guess I also need to take that heater bolt loose. Should have thought of that. Didn't think of that. And I noticed something else about this, which has me puzzling. For some reason, I was thinking, can you see where I'm at? I don't know. Probably not. For some reason, I was thinking that the temperature sender went, oh, there we go. I was thinking it went in this hole. But I don't know what I'm thinking of there. What would have been where that plug is. I was thinking on the other one, or maybe on Dad's, there was something in there. Oh well, doesn't really make a difference because it works like this. Let's see, this is our air conditioner hose, which is going to be a problem. This wire I need to take loose simply for, oh, well, no, that's going to be a problem too. I wanted more room for this hose to be able to, like, could I get it up over here? And that help hold it up out of the way? That might be what I want. This will have to come off like that. Just simply a matter of unhooking. Whatever. It's probably fine. What else? Well, go back to what I was doing. Yeah. Taking these 4 bolts loose. I should have brought, I've got a clean wad of shop rags in the house. I should have brought those out here. You can see where I'm working at or not, but I might have to get me a extension or do something to get down into that one. I don't know. Maybe I can get it with the setup I have. Maybe not. Come on, baby. Yeah, see, if I put the extension on, it's probably going to be too long. I should really have a shallow socket with that maybe, but would it be really any fun if there wasn't major struggles? There we go. Okay, why are you? There we go. I think I got it. Yeah, okay, well, drop the lock washer. Want to get it now so it doesn't accidentally get bumped into the motor here in a minute. Now, we're going to try to take this loose. Of course, we're going to struggle. I think on the last one of these, I actually broke one of these clamps doing this because it was so covered with paint or something. I can't remember. But I know the hose was garbage. And so I better have a new one because I'm pretty sure I looked the other day and it was in that box. Because I thought I got all the stuff I need. Alright, that's loose. Lots of dirt and extremely sharp corners that will slice your hand open. Awesome. Well, what I'm wondering here, yeah, I really wanted to make sure that I had all the stuff that I thought I had. So there's the hose. There's the gasket for this hole. Those are O-rings for something else here I got. We'll deal with. I'm trying to prepare the area so that I don't knock a bunch of dirt in everywhere. And that compressor's got to come out of the way. There's just no two ways about that. So that's going to be the next order of business. Also, I'm kind of tentatively thinking in my mind, what am I going to do with it once I take it loose? You only have so many combinations of what you could do with it based on the length of the hoses that you have. So, I'm not exactly sure. I could potentially maybe hang it over top of the turbo somehow. I don't want a lot of weight hanging on all that though. I don't know that I could tuck it out of the way. It might be better to take those 4 bolts loose. No, I can't. I still have to take this plate out of the way. That's what's hosing me. That plate has got to come out of there. It is an aluminum compressor, so it's not that heavy. That plate's probably heavier than the compressor. I also should probably run up and get those shop rags, so I got plenty of them on hand to keep trash out of things like this and that especially, and then we can continue on our way. Look at how much accumulation has occurred because of that drip on that pressure line. It has made a real mess of it. What fun, friends, what fun. So yeah, let me get some stuff and we'll be right back. All right. Let's stuff that in there a little bit. Not so much that we forget about it and it gets sucked into the motor, because that wouldn't be a good time, would it? But we just want to keep trash out of important-ish places. If we were smart, we could, you know, do this number here. Try to get a little of both action out of the same rag. There. Okay, well, where do we stand? We need to give these a quick spray down too. Like I said, I think most of this stuff is all loose, and every time I was pressure washing, I was just blowing it back and forth as you would go down. Some of it would go down there, and then when you blow sideways, it would push some back up and it would get caught in places. Again, this is not ideal, but I want to try to get it as clean as I can to start with, so I'm not tracking trash in there. Well, I just found another thing that's probably gonna have to come out of the way. I don't know about that. It almost looks like that. Well, I can't say that. I don't know. I would have figured when these cabs were new that they came with actual bracketry to fit the specific tractor, but this looks like customized stuff, and maybe the reason is, and I bet it is now that I think about it, this tractor did not originally have this cab on it. This cab was originally on the other tractor we worked on they have, and they switched it over to this one later, but I'm thinking that all the air compressors for the year-round cabs came out the side, hence why they cut this hole. And so what I'm wondering is they made custom brackets to put that up under the hood to get it out of the way. Because I know my uncle, on the one that my dad's got, he eventually just took the belt off. He said it didn't work right. He had trouble keeping it in alignment and stuff, and it has the sheet metal cut out, so it was probably on the side like this one. So that's what I'm betting is the reason for that, is they probably custom fabbed this to tuck this up out of the way. But this brace here has got me not happy. I'm worried about, I got to take that bolt out of the back, but I'm also worried I got to take the whole brace out to just get that loose. And I don't like that because that is a head bolt, and I don't like the idea of taking head bolts loose to get air conditioner brackets out. But I don't have much choice, and the time is now. Also, it has a pocket of trash behind it. That's a nice place to trap trash. So, yeah. Well, not much a guy can do other than just start in and see where life takes him. It's got to come apart, so, you know. Probably extension, which of course is on the other side. Isn't that always the way? Actually, this might be better anyway, because I can see what I'm doing for this back bolt anyway. If I go this route. Oh, dum-dum, it would help if you put the right socket on there. Grabbed the right one in the shallow, and then I went to this setup, so. I'm hoping that is threaded into that. It looks like it would be. So now I know I'm gonna have to take that loose. I just do, because it's just too far into the cover. So that's what you always want to find out on a nice cold winter day, is that you're gonna be screwing around with stuff such as this. What size are those? 3/4? Okay. Actually, let me do, let's see here. Holy Knutson. Why is that so? There we go. I know why it's so tight, because it's a head bolt. And I bet you it's going to be the type of deal where I can't do this without just taking it all the way out. It's not, there's not enough physical room to, there might be, but I don't think it's going to be that much more to just pull it. We'll put it right back in the hole so it stays clean. That's one thing where, like on the Olivers, if you were going to do such a thing as this, they actually have a, oh, that makes sense why this return line's bent too. Anyway, they have those puller bolts where you have threads on top. So that is actually like, if I was going to make one on something like that, you'd have that available thread sticking out the top. You wouldn't have to take the head bolt out. But you can see the story unfold as you work on stuff, and right here's a good example. So earlier I was wondering why the kink in this return line. Well, when they put that bracket on, they had to be able to get this bolt up out of there. So they kinked the return line a little bit to make that happen, and so on and so forth. So if you just take your time, you can kind of figure out people's thought process of how things are the way that they are, because the story unfolds, you know. You had to get something done, and then that led to you having to do something else to make the first thing work, and life happens, you know. So, pretty neat. Now this, I'm not exactly understanding why. I wonder if, that's a big if, but it would certainly be the best way. Just a minute and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Okay, we're going to try something to see if it will do what we want. And that's something I came up with. I took this idler loose. It was bolted like this was in there. But I got this where this swings up, that swings up. What if I took the bolt out of the other side and just pivoted it on this one and tilted it up out of my way? Perhaps I could get this loose and still have that compressor being held by something instead of just randomly swinging in the breeze, which will be difficult to manage. I think there's enough hose where that'll work. That'll get me the clearance I need to lift this up out of there. I think that it might work. Famous last words, of course. Also cool, that's a different size bolt. Why wouldn't it be a different size bolt? You know, that's the kind of stuff you always run into. And if you're making something like whenever they made that bracket, you know that was just something that had to be done. I mean, it just wouldn't work the other way, so they went with, you know, a different, whatever size they could get in that hole. and it works. But then when you go to work on it later, when you don't know the story, you wouldn't know that, you know. People often say, like when I work on stuff, they say, well, did you leave a manual for the next guy so he knows all the modifications you made? Well, no. But he'll figure it out, just like I figure out stuff all the time like that. It's part of life, you know. Part of working on stuff is figuring out how things are put together. Like half of the stuff I've worked on in life, there was no book that told you what to do, so you just have to do the best and figure it out. I'll also show you something else I just noticed here in a minute, as soon as I get this bolt out and we see if my idea is going to work. There's a ton of washers in here too, so I got to watch that I don't lose them all here in a second when I finally get this off of there. Got to be cautious when you're making stuff loose like this, because you don't know how many things you could lose if you just go whipping a bolt out of there, you know. Okay, whoa. Lock washer. That's good. Aw, don't drop the washers. Uh-oh. Well, I got 3 out of 4. I don't know where the 4th one went, but that might become clear here in a little bit. I think this is going to work though, like I envisioned it, because that ought to be enough room to get that out of there. Okay, I see where the other one is, and we got to get it out of there because it's inside the water pump plug. Are you still in there wedged? I think it is. I think it's at the bottom of the slot. There it is. It made it to the ground that time. 4 washers. Bolt. Oh, here's what I was going to show you. Let's admire this man's bracket. Whoever made that bracket, you know they put that on 50 times and each time, and then they took it off and ground a little more and tweaked a little more and ground it and tweaked it, because you can tell different places, and they finally got it where it fit in there perfectly. So shout out to you, Mr. Angle Bracket Maker, because that's frustrating when you're doing something like that, because it takes a ton of time on and off to get stuff going. But it worked. And I think this is going to work. I think that's enough room to get it lifted up out of there. So, might we do that thing? Or might we, I don't know. Or might we wait to do that when we get home and do the hydraulic lines first? It would make more sense to let that be drying. I just got to leave enough time that I have time to physically run, get the lines, and come back. And then the phone rings immediately after I put it back in my pocket, because that's how life works. It's a scam call, of course, too, so made me do that for nothing. But yeah, I should probably have what I was getting at is I need to make sure I got enough of that gasket glue, because I was thinking I pretty well used it up when we did that 1650 service call. So yeah. Maybe we need to just call this one here anyway, because I think I got like loads of footage. So I guess even though you didn't see much, you got to see some disassembly, some cleaning. You got to see the tractor run, I think, at the beginning of this one. So yeah, we maybe didn't make a ton of progress in this video, but we're going to make a ton of progress today. So I will continue on my merry way, but for now, I think we're going to call that the end of this video. You've seen me do valve cover gaskets a ton, so I don't know if you'll film that when I do it. And then the only other thing is I'm going to mark some of these lines with zip ties so I don't forget which is what. And I'm going to take these 4 lines off And then, yeah, see, like right there, look at that wear into that hose where this has been in there for years rubbing. So it's probably time to go ahead and update some of the stuff, and that's what we're gonna do. I should probably check those 4 lines that we made wrong earlier and see if any of them could be repurposed, but I don't think they can be. I think they're not long enough, but yeah. Anyway, maybe not very interesting, but I'm gonna leave this one here because it seems like a natural stopping place, and we will plug on our life's way as we go. So, yeah. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.